heart of a school, it is beneficiary satisfaction. It's the seventh domain of the SQAAF. It reflects how well the school meets the expectations of its students, parents, community, and all the teachers involved, ensuring that all the voices are heard and their experiences remain positive and meaningful. So before we finally dive into the webinar, I'll take a moment to introduce Luneblaze. At Luneblaze, we have been passionately supporting hundreds of institutions, both schools and colleges around the world on their accreditation journeys for more than 8 years. But more than just ticking boxes or the self-assessment, we focus on helping schools grow, improve, and deliver even better learning experiences. As you all probably know, CBSE has now made accreditation mandatory for all its affiliated schools. That's where the school quality assessment and assurance frameworks come in. It's a framework designed to help schools evaluate and enhance every part of their functioning. Now, some of you might already be deep into your squad journey, and other might be just getting started. So wherever you are in the process, you're not alone. Luneblaze is here to support you at every step of the way. From planning and documentation to automation and compliance, we'll help you make your SQAAF implementation smoother and more efficient, so your school can focus on what it does the best, that is nurturing the students. So let's get started, and we are excited to explore how effectively satisfying the beneficiaries can bring out the best in your school and create a lasting impact for students, staff, and the entire community involved. So moving on to the another slide of the webinar, here we'll talk about what all things that the webinar. So at Luneblaze, we understand that implementing SQAAF can be a detailed and sometimes an overwhelming process. That's where our monthly webinars are, carefully created to give you an exactly kind of the support you need. Firstly, our webinars give you a direct access to the expert guidance. Each session is led by a seasoned professional who brings years of hands-on experience in education and accreditation industry. They are here not only to clarify the framework, but also to guide you with strategies that actually work in the school environment. Secondly, we focus on providing practical suggestions for improvement across the various domains and subdomains of the SQAAF. It's not about only the self-assessment, it's about helping your school grow in real measurable ways. And last but not the least, these webinars are a great opportunity to connect with the fellow educators from across the country, sharing insights, learning from one another, and building a strong professional network. That's what makes this journey so much richer. And yes, every webinar comes with a certificate, so you're not just gaining the insight, you're building your professional credentials as well. So moving ahead, let's now get to know about the expert speaker of the today's webinar, Ms. Archana Awade. So we are delighted to be joined by Ms. Archana today, who brings with her a wealth of knowledge and hands-on experience in the school leadership and quality frameworks. Ms. Archana currently serves as a general manager at the Aditya Birla Academy. She is a seasoned CBSE squad trainer and a resource person, an IGCSE mathematics specialist, and an auditor. Her rich experience and practical approach have helped numerous schools strengthen their internal systems and align effectively with the SQAAF standards. It's a privilege to have her with us today, and we are excited to hear her insights on the Domain 7, Beneficiary Satisfaction, a crucial pillar in building the robust and future-ready educational institutions. So, Ms. Archana will be taking the session ahead in the movement. Till the time, let's gear up, and see what all topics we have to cover up today. So moving ahead, we'll be first discussing about the Sustainable Development Goals and understand how they relate to the SQAAF. After that, there will be a short recap of SQAAF and its 7 important pillars, the 7 domains, just to refresh our understanding. Then we'll move ahead on the main focus of our today's webinar, that is beneficiary satisfaction, the 7th domain of SQAAF. We'll look at some key points, understand this domain, followed by a discussion on the performance indicators. To help connect the ideas better, we'll also go through a real case study. Then we'll take a short break for a first Q&A round. where Ms. Archana will respond to some of your questions. Following that, we'll talk about the CBSE inspection process and the latest SQAAF self-assessment guidelines for the year 2025. We'll also share how Luneblaze is supporting schools in implementing SQAAF effectively. So before we finally close, we'll talk about the upcoming SQAAF webinar series, and finally we'll have another round of a question answers where the remaining questions will be answered. So a lot of useful and a practical information is coming your way, and we hope you will be with us throughout and take the full advantage of the webinar. Just a quick reminder, during the ending Q&A round, you will be free to unmute yourselves and speak directly with Ms. Archana. And let's get started. So over to you, ma'am, now.
So thank you, Team Luneblaze, for the introduction. And thank you, Shruti, for setting the tone for this today's webinar. So good evening, educators, for this Domain 7 of SQAAF framework. So it's been honored to be with such passionate mind who are not just teaching lessons, but also shaping the futures. So education is evolving, and it's educators like you who are open to growth, collaboration, and innovation, and who are trying truly making the difference in the education field. So thank you for taking the time out to be here. And let's keep this session interactive, energized, and full of learning, because your voice matters. So share your thoughts in the chat box, and also uh, jump into the discussion whenever you are invited. So let's begin. So we all heard about the SDGs. So as the title says, it is about sustainable developmental goals. So in 2015, the UN introduced 17 goals as a global call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure peace and prosperity for all by 2030. And among these, if you'll see goal 4, that is the quality education is at the heart of it, because education enables better health, gender equality, economic growth, climate actions, and society. So education isn't just a local responsibility, it's a global mission, and this mission begins in school. So this mission of global mission has to be started in the school. So in India, school quality assessment and assurance framework, that is SQAAF, by CBSE, is a local response to this global vision, right? So S SQAAF framework is an answer, or is a framework to acquire the quality education in India. Let's move on to the next slide. And that's what exactly that CBSE's school quality assessment and assurance framework is all about: ensuring quality education in school through structure and thoughtful approach. So SQAAF framework is a tool that helps schools know 3 things: where you are, where you want to go, and how to get there, while always keeping students' learning outcomes at the center. So this tool is a practical and a doable in a real school setting, helping schools to reflect and take data-based decisions based on real evidence-driven insights. So this SQAAF framework is benchmarked to global standards, recognized internationally, but yet it is rooted in at a local context. So SQAAF framework isn't just about meeting a standard, but it's about raising the bar. It's about building school that reflects the best of what's possible for our educators, for our communities, and most importantly, our students. So as we prepare for the SQAAF self-assessment, let's do it not to find flaws, but to discover potential and make our schools stronger, to have that quality education in across all our schools. Now, let's move on to the next slide. So now we understood the intent of SCORE, why the CBS has introduced. So now let us recall the areas of school quality framework and give deeper and a look at its anatomy. The 7 key domains that forms the foundation of school quality under this framework. So first domain is curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment, and it has 40% weighted with 7 subdomains and 26 benchmarking statements. So this domain is at the heart of the framework, and it answers 3 powerful questions like what is taught, how is it taught, and how is it measured. And that's why it carries the highest weightage, that is of 40%. Next domain is about infrastructure, resources, and learning environment. And this domain focuses on where learning happens. Are the learning spaces safe, inclusive, and technology enabled? With 10% weightage, 12 sub-areas, and 20 standard statements. People makes the system work. And so the third domain is human resources. So with 10% weightage, 5 subdomains, and 10 quality standards. So this domain focuses on the recruitment, professional development, wellness, performance appraisals, and motivation of the staffs. Fourth domain is inclusive practices, where no child is left behind. With 10% weightage, 5 subdomains, and 7 benchmarking statements. So these domains ensures equity, accessibility, and diversity in all the school practices. Fifth is about management and governance with 10% weightage, 10 subdomains, and 10 benchmarking statements. So this domain promotes reflective data-driven management. Sixth domain is about leadership with 10% weightage, 3 subdomains, and 5 benchmarking statements. And this domain assess how the school leadership engages in strategic planning, critical decision making, and shared responsibility. So it's all about leading with purpose and managing with clarity. And that seventh domain is beneficiary satisfaction with 10% weightage. So this domain encourages schools to collect and act on feedback from students, parents, teachers, and other stakeholders to constantly improve the educational experiences. So together, these 7 domains forms the backbone of SCORE framework. And with this 7 lenses, every school can reflect, grow, and truly thrive for the excellence. Next. So before we dive into the beneficiary satisfaction, let me hear from you. Who are our stakeholders? Can you give your insights, type your insight in the chat box? Who are the stakeholders of our schools? And then we come to the next question, that is, what is beneficiary satisfaction? Can I have some inputs from your side? Who are the stakeholders of our schools? Parents, very good. Gagan Chopra. Varsha, students, yes, true. Parents, students, parents, society, well-wishers. Oh, great. Who are these well-wishers? Alumni, excellent. Students, alumni, yes. Correct. So as you have mentioned, our stakeholders and the core stakeholders are parents and students. Who works for the school, nearby community. Excellent, Prabhavati Gupta ma'am. Helping Hands English Medium School has raised the hands. Yes, you have raised your virtual hand. Please type your answer in the chat box. Can I have some more inputs? So all what you have said, the stakeholders are the students, parents, alumni, community, teachers. Great, great, good. So we all are aware who are our stakeholders who are associated with the schools, with our schools. So that's correct. Now my next question is, what is beneficiary satisfaction with respect to the stakeholders? Management, yes, alumni, parents, yeah. So now my next question is, what is beneficiary satisfaction keeping the stakeholders in mind? All stakeholders. All stakeholders, so yes. So any idea what does this beneficiary satisfaction mean? Is the school working for the betterment of the school? Excellent, Upma ma'am. Lina Zadgaukar, meeting with their expectation level, correct, very good. Yes, excellent, yes. Yes, so as you told, let me give you an example. What is beneficiary satisfaction? Means able to reach the expectation of all the stakeholders, making them happy in the school, making them satisfied. So that is all what is beneficiary satisfaction is. Uh, the stakeholders, our school is performing properly or not? Yes. My next question connected with this, and why is beneficiary satisfaction is important? Why do you think satisfying all the stakeholders of the school is important? Can I have your inputs in the chat box? Share your insight. Why do you think the beneficiary satisfaction is important when we are associated with our students, teachers, parents, alumni, community, to see that school is working for all-round development? Correct? Yes. Excellent, ma'am. So gathering from all your inputs, let me share an example to explain what is beneficiary satisfaction and why is beneficiary satisfaction is important. So imagine a parent who comes to your school saying that their child not only improved in academics but also gained confidence through school events, leadership opportunities, and supportive schools. So this parent feels that the school is nurturing the child's overall growth and not only just focusing on grades. And that's where the beneficiary satisfaction is in action. So when the parents feel that with school education, the child is not only improving in the academics, but also showing some overall holistic development. And there the satisfaction comes in action. So what is beneficiary satisfaction? Can we have the definition on the slide? So it is not simply means how happy and supported the stakeholders of a school feel, but whether they are students, parents, or even the teachers, it's all about how well the institution meets their need, not just academically, but also emotionally and socially. So when a school provides quality teaching, a safe and inclusive environment, open communication, and also the chances for holistic growth, the beneficiaries, the students and their families feel truly satisfied. So this is what a beneficiary satisfaction means. So they are happy, but they feel the school is supporting their children for their holistic development. And why this beneficiary satisfaction is important? Again, let us take an example. So suppose there are two schools. So one school is only focusing on academics. And while the other school also invests in students' well-being, communication with parents, and also some kind of inclusive activities. So parents of the second school feel more connected and valued because they are involved in the school's functioning. They share their positive experience with others, leading to higher admissions and community service. And that is the power of beneficiary satisfaction. So beneficiary satisfaction is more than just keeping students and parents happy, but it is also about trust, relationship, and long-term success. For the long-term success when we are functioning in the school. So when students feel supported, uh, they become more engaged learner. When parents see their children growing holistically, they speak positive about the school to others, and this builds trust and encourages word of mouth and strengthens the school community. So over time, this satisfaction contributes to the continuous growth and the reputation of the school, of your institution, of your school. So it becomes when the parents communicate to each other, your school may become the first choice school of the parents. So this is why when we satisfy the parents, when we satisfy the students and the teachers, this becomes a very important aspect for all the school, all the institutions. Let's move on to the next slide. So definitions did not appear. So now that we understood what beneficiary satisfaction is and why it matters. So now let's look at this question together. So we see to see what might and might not be considered a real challenge. So here is a question. Which of the following is not a potential challenge in assessing beneficiary satisfaction? There are four options: ensuring honest and unbiased feedback, time constraint in gathering feedback, limited participation from beneficiaries, and direct correlation between satisfaction and academic performance. Which is the correct option? Please type in your chat box. According to you, which is not the potential challenge in assessing beneficiary satisfaction out of these four statements? Participants, could you please type your answer in the chat box? You can write A, B, C, or D, whichever you feel is the correct option. Suchitra Malviya, yes, ma'am. Yes, D, direct correlation between satisfaction and academic performance. Okay. Sujata ma'am, D, correct. Okay, D. Varsha Gupta, D. D. Anybody who is for A, B, or C? Yeah, Kalyani Dikshit is saying A. Okay. Upma Mahajan is saying C. Okay. Jobai Mini D, A, B, A, D. Okay. 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 So we got a mixed answer. So we have some participants going for A, some are going for C, and most of them are saying D. So now why do you think D is the correct option? Can somebody type their answer, reason why the option D is correct? Why option D is correct? Any thoughts? You were right when you were saying option D is the correct answer for the question. Parameters to judge both are not available. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Any other thought? Okay, let's move ahead. So imagine a school conducts this annual parent survey. So your school also must be conducting parent surveys, right? So there is a school who conducts a annual parent survey. So here what happens? Um, One more answer I got. Some people think academic performance is satisfactory and Upma, my parameters to judge both are not available. Some people think academic performance is satisfactory and some are not. Okay. Yeah. So taking from there, suppose now let's take an example of a school who conducts annual parent survey. So what happens here when we conduct a parent survey? There are many parents who praises the school supportive teachers and also the extracurricular activities which we conduct in the school for our students. But there are some parents who raise concern about the limited communication during exam season. So this feedback is honest but incomplete. Why it is incomplete? Because not all parents filled out the survey and the responses lean more towards the concerns than the appreciation. So what does this tell us? So collecting satisfaction data has a real challenge, such as getting honest response, ensuring enough participation, and managing time for the data collections. So uh, so what does it mean? So many times we feel that high exam scores will guarantee parent satisfaction, but this assumption is many times is incorrect, because academic success alone does not equal to overall satisfaction of the parent. And that's why the last option, that direct correlation between the satisfaction and the academic performance, stands out as not a real challenge, because it's like a misconception and not a data issue. And the first three are the common challenges in school what we see. Uh, Let me give you an example. Suppose sometimes parents hesitate to give honest feedback because they don't want to offend the teachers, and teachers too may feel rushed to collect feedback during exam or busy school schedule. And similarly, not every students or parent participate actively in the surveys or feedback, on leading to limited data. So these three options are the common thing what we see in the school, but the fourth option is the correct, which is not a potential challenge in assessing beneficiary satisfaction. Now let's move on to the next slide. So now let's look at the different subdomains uh, subdomains of this main domain, that is beneficiary satisfaction. So if you look at the school, satisfaction is not a one dimensional. So in fact, in schools, there are multiple group of stakeholders whose satisfaction we need to consider. And each group experiences the institution differently, and together they give us a holistic picture of how well the school is functioning. And the SQAAF framework identifies such 6 key subdomains of beneficiary satisfaction. So let's go through them one by one. So satisfaction of students. So the students are the most direct beneficiaries. So their satisfaction depends on teaching quality, safety, co-curricular opportunities, peer relationships, and also the overall well-being. So if uh, let me give you an example. Suppose a students feel teacher listens to their concerns and provide opportunities for creativity beyond exam. So their satisfaction level will be high, right? Next subdomain of this beneficiary satisfaction is satisfaction of staff, both teaching and non-teaching. So a satisfied staff is more motivated, engaged, and productive. And this include appreciation, professional growth, and supportive work culture. So teachers who receives regular feedback, recognition, and opportunities for training will report higher satisfaction. Similarly, non-teaching staff are also value, respect, and inclusion in school culture. Third subdomain is satisfaction of principals. So the principal satisfaction often reflects institutional alignment, support from management, and a healthy school culture. So, for example, a principal is the one who is empowered to implement innovative teaching strategy, feels more fulfilled and committed. Next, a subdomain is satisfaction of parent and alumni, which are also the very important stakeholders of the school. So parents want to see the holistic growth in their children and clear communication with the school. So similarly, alumni's satisfaction reflects how well the school is prepared. School prepared them for the life beyond. For example, an alumni who credits their leadership skill to the opportunities given in the school is an ambassador of satisfaction. Then satisfaction of community. So school do not exist in isolation. A supportive community ensures partnership, resources, and goodwill. So a school that collaborates with local NGOs or organizes health camps, so earns community trust. Satisfaction of management is the sixth subdomain of beneficiary satisfaction. For management, satisfaction comes from achieving the school's vision, ensuring sustainability, and building reputations. So if a school is seen as progressive and trusted in the region, the management feels satisfied and its mission is on track. So beneficiary satisfaction is not about one group alone, but about weaving together the experiences of all the stakeholders. So these are all the subdomains, and satisfaction of all these stakeholders contributes to the beneficiary satisfaction factor of your school and this area of your school. Let's move on. So we saw the beneficiary satisfaction has multiple subdomains: students, parents, staff, management, and more. But how do we actually measure or track satisfaction of these groups? So that's where the standards come in. And standards provide a framework for school to assess and monitor satisfaction in a structured and a meaningful way. So what is the standard statement which is been provided by the SQAAF framework to measure the satisfaction of students? So the standard statement is: the school tracks and assesses students' satisfaction on learning experiences inside and outside the classroom. How we will put this? So student satisfaction is not just about grades. It's about how engaged, safe, and supported they feel in academics, co-curricular activities, and overall school life. For example, suppose a school conducts a mid-year survey where students share how they enjoyed a project-based learning or or feel included in extracurricular activity. So if students express enthusiasm and a sense of belonging, that indicates strong satisfaction. So this is the standard statements, how we satisfy students, how we measure the satisfaction of the students, which are the important core stakeholders of a school function. Next, the standard statement for the second subdomain, that is teaching and non-teaching staff, is the teacher tracks and assess staff satisfaction. The school tracks and assess staff satisfaction with working condition, safety, recognition, opportunity for growth, and the sense of belonging. So this is the standard statement for this subdomains. So we know the teachers and staff are the backbone of the school. So their satisfaction reflects whether they feel respected, supported, and motivated. Similarly, non-teaching staff also must feel valued as a part of school community. So a school, for example, we have seen the schools, there are schools who have introduced the Staff Appreciation Day, where both teaching and non-teaching staffs are recognized for their contribution. Along with regular professional development, the satisfaction is improved and the morale is high. So this is what there are schools who are doing the teacher of the month or the teacher of a week or the teacher leader of a day. So these are the activity which leads to the satisfaction of the staff. Next standard for the satisfaction of the principal is intrinsic and extrinsic factors influence the principal's job satisfaction. So principal's satisfaction depends on the autonomy, support from the management, recognition, and the ability to create impact. If a principal feels empowered and appreciated, they can lead more effectively. So a school management team supports the principal in piloting a digital learning program. With an encouragement and resources provided, the principal feels confident and valued, boosting their job satisfaction. So the standard is also the standard statement. How we can measure the satisfaction level of the principal is been defined by the SQAAF framework. Next is the beneficiary satisfaction also extends to the parents and the alumni and the community and also the management. So this group also shapes the school's reputation, growth, and sustainability. So let us look how their satisfaction is assessed. So satisfaction of parents and alumni, the standard statement, the standard set for this to measure or to assess the satisfaction level of parents and alumni. The score defines the statements like the school maintains a healthy relationship with parents and alumni and assesses satisfaction through connection, engagement, and interaction. So parents want clear communication, they want trust and the involvement. So alumni reflects the school's long-term impact and often become brand ambassadors for the school. So for example, there are schools who are running a parent connect week, or they invite parents for the assembly to speak on. So that where the teachers share their progress updates or the parents share their experience of their school, how the school is developing their children. Similarly, alumni are invited as a guest speakers to inspire students to choose their career path who are well settled in their career. So this also helps in developing the satisfaction of parents and alumni. And even the feedback from parents and the alumni helps the school to get at what satisfaction level this community is. and how they are engaged in school activities. Next is about satisfaction of community. So the standard statement for measuring the satisfaction of community is the school ensures community satisfaction by fostering meaningful and sustainable engagement in school programs. So school exists within the community, and the school image depends on how we engage with local organizations, leaders, and the school social causes. So let me give you an example. So a school who partners with local health workers to organize free health camps or collaborate with an NGO for environmental awareness drives. So this initiative will build goodwill as well as the community trust. So as a school, we have to take care of the community satisfaction of it and how we involve community in a school functioning, how they become the partner of a school functioning. And very important, the satisfaction of the management. So the standard defined for the management satisfaction is assessed through stakeholders' attitude and behavior towards the institution. So if teachers, parents, students, and the community express trust and loyalty, the management feels satisfied and the school is achieving its mission. So a school's positive word of mouth in the city will lead to the strong enrollment numbers. And also it will be the visible stakeholders will take pride and reassure that management, that its policies are working. So the purpose of education is to create and sustain satisfied beneficiaries, which are our students, parents, our staff, our community, our management, and also our alumni. So this is all about the standard statement which are defined by the SQAAF framework, so that every school works and creates these standards in their school when it comes to the beneficiary satisfactions. Okay. Now let's look at the aspects that guides how schools can actually achieve and sustain that satisfactions. So these are the practical tools and approaches we can use in everyday schools operations. So school beneficiary satisfaction policy is one of the document which school can maintain. So every school should have a clear documented approach to how it values and measures the beneficiary's satisfaction. So the policy should include how they want to incorporate the parents' feedback, how they want to collect the parents' feedback or the alumni feedback, how they want to engage the alumni in the school activities, how they will have the community activities in the school. So this document has to have to ensure that your beneficiary satisfaction is in place. Means in the beginning only you have a policy for the beneficiary satisfaction, which includes the this policy will include the satisfactory actions which you are taking to include all the stakeholders. Second, there has to be a feedback practices for different stakeholders, means collecting inputs from your students, parents, staff, and community in a systematic way. It has to be included in your school documents. Third is feed forward practices for different stakeholders. Feed forward means what? It is about moving beyond feedback, means looking at your backward and focusing on the future involvement. What did not work in the past, how we are going to improvise in the future. So that is what is about feed forward. So how you are planning this feed forward action or the plans of improvement, that also has to be documented, keeping the stakeholders in mind. For example, suppose after a parent-teacher meeting, So instead of just noting down the concern what the parents have raised, the school is sharing the next steps of their satisfaction. For example, if a school wants to introduce an online portal for the better communication, so how the school is keeping in mind the feedback which was given in the past by the parents to showcase them or tell them about what is their future plan to improve their communications. So this is what is the feed forward practices, how the school should maintain this, the plan of future actions for improvement, and it should be shared with the different stakeholders. Another one is the 4 R's quality circle. Very, very important. A cycle which is a cycle to maintain an improvement. It is all about review, reflect, respond, and rate or revise. So, for example, suppose after a school sports event, the school reviews the participation, then reflects on the challenges, then responds by planning more inclusive games, and then revises or rates the rules for the next year. So this is a 4 R's quality cycle, which the school should always look into this cycle to have a proper improvement plan where you will have the beneficiary satisfaction. Next is about the extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. So school should nurture both extrinsic. What is extrinsic motivation? It is in the form of rewards, recognitions, the certificates, and intrinsic is about the self-driven pride, sense of belonging, and the love for learning. So this has to be incorporated. These are the important aspects when we are looking at the beneficiary satisfaction of our stakeholders. So next is the template, which is showing you the school beneficiary satisfaction policy. So this template will have a policy overview, then objective, then the scope of this, then the key policy component, roles and responsibility, implementation and review as the concluding statement. So it is like a action steps for the school to maintain in this policy. So policy overview is, this is the why behind the policy, why we are having this policy in place. So this ensures school don't just assume stakeholders are satisfied, but actually measures and improves them systematically. Shruti, the slide is not visible. Have you stopped sharing the screen?
Please check now. I think it's visible.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the first you will have when you are documenting or you are drafting this policy. First, you have to have the policy overview. Why you are drafting this document? Why you are having this policy in place? Next is your objective. So this is the big picture where you are ensuring how continuous improvement services will be assessed and addressing while addressing the needs of your stakeholders. Yeah, so the objective of this policy has to be there. Why this policies, and this is what is the objective of designing this document. Then scope. The scope is also about who is covered under this policy. So this will make clear the policy is not just for the leaders, but also includes everyone who impacts beneficiaries. So the scope is for the principals, it may be for principals, teachers, office staff, maybe for the counselors, maybe for the alumni, maybe for the community. So all that has to be covered, that is through the scope. So under scope, you will write who all is covered under this policy. Then next is the key policy components. So these are the specific satisfaction areas where school must monitor. So first is the student satisfaction, because we are talking about the beneficiary satisfaction. So in these documents, we will talk about all our stakeholders' satisfaction. So how we are going to have the measure the student satisfaction? Maybe through your student survey on teaching quality or the extracurricular activity. Then you can measure the staff satisfaction through teachers' well-being programs, or how workload is balanced amongst all the staff, teaching staff, or the non-teaching staff. So this all has to be listed out under key policy component. Parent satisfaction, when we'll have parent-teacher, what is the parent-teacher trust, how transparent communication is. Alumni satisfaction, what engagement programs we are planning for the alumni, what mentorship opportunities we will provide through alumni group. So all has to be mentioned under key policy component. Then again, about the community satisfaction, like partnership with NGO, local service project. Then we'll have management satisfaction, like effective use of resources, leadership cultures, etc. Later, then you define the roles and responsibility. Who is responsible for which component? So clearly outline who is responsible for gathering and analyzing and acting on the feedbacks. So suppose you are collecting the survey. So clearly define out the roles, which teacher is responsible, or what is the roles of leaders when you are documenting this document. Next will be your implementation and review. So how the implementation is, how the policy will come to life, how you are going to implement this policy in action. Then policy implementation, how you are launching it through a either through a workshop or by introducing to the teachers, students, or parents, whoever is involved, and then later on by regular monitoring. Whether you want to monitor this policy is working or not, you can have your monitoring system or tracking system on the monthly basis or fortnightly basis or half yearly basis, and see who all are getting involved in this. And then the review timeline also. When this policy is documented, what are the, on what year, in what month you are going to review this. So that timeline also has to be recorded in this or in this document. So through this policy, school commit to valuing every stakeholder's voice and also ensuring our school remains responsive, inclusive, and future ready. Because in this policy document, we are taking care of satisfaction factor of all our stakeholders. Next is about the feedback practices from all the stakeholders. So students. So again, if you look at our school's improvement, we improve when we get a feedback. Right. So again, it forms a practical backbone for the school beneficiary satisfaction. So without it, school assumes they are just meeting the needs, but with it, the schools can adapt, can respond, and also grow. So how do we gather feedback from all the stakeholders? First is about the students. So students are directly affected by teaching quality, school environment, and learning method. So how do we hear their voice? So by conducting regular survey about the teaching learning processes, a suggestion box. We do get to see the suggestion box at the reception of the school or near the principal's cabin for anonymous feedback without mentioning any name, and also the students' reflection after every lessons. Even the classroom discussion will help us to share, will help students to share their ideas openly, and that will help us to get the feedback from the students. Even we have seen in some of the schools in India that some schools are maintaining the students' log in their classroom. So when the teacher leaves the classroom after teaching, the students write their feedback about the lesson learned. So that is also a way of getting feedback from the student. Then how do we gather the feedback from the staff? So staff means both teaching and non-teaching. So staff also needs safe spaces for professional input and growth. So peer observation cycles where teachers observe each other lessons and exchange constructive feedback. Then your staff meetings, then quality circle times for open feedback and sometimes anonymous feedback to the head of the principal will help us to measure the staff satisfaction. So we take the feedback from the staff to different channels like staff meeting, quality circle, and even one-on-one interaction helps us to measure the staff satisfaction. Next, how leadership and management feedback will be collected. So this leadership also needs evaluation to ensure their accountability. So annual 360-degree review where parents, staff, and students representatives rate leadership responsiveness through a survey, or even the management committees. Reviews will also help to measure principal satisfaction. So a third party also can give feedback on the how the principals or the leaders are working in the school, and what are the areas where they want to improve, what are the strengths of this leadership and what are the weaknesses of the leadership through the survey or through some small management review groups. Yeah. So that will also give us the feedback for improvement of principals' accountability in the school. Next is about the parents. So parents often provide feedback on communication, safety, and trust. For that, we have the PTMs. Many times we have seen that the schools are arranging coffee with parents or the coffee mornings, where the parents meets the leadership informally and share the feedback. And also there are schools who are conducting regular parent survey quarterly, half yearly, and at the end of the year. So that also helps the school to collect feedback from the parents and see what are the areas they have to work on. Next is about the alumni. So alumni also provide a long-term perspective on the school's impact. So online alumni forums where ex-students suggest improvement for the current programs. Even survey and feedback from alumni will help us in incorporating their suggestions for improvement. So many times the progress schools or the legacy schools have their strong alumni group. And these alumni groups form a strong community and they help the schools to guide the schools what are the career options and how they can guide their current students to opt for the different career options, because these alumni are experienced and they share their career experiences with the school. And this also helps to enhance the school improvement programs. Next is the last one is about the community, how we'll get the feedback. So local community feedback also ensures that school remains socially responsible. So joint review sessions or school community projects like tree plantations, blood donation drive, or Parivartan drive. So this also helps, the feedback given by the community also helps to schools to improvise on the community services, what they plan for their school, and to participate in the community services. So this feedback practices for all the from all the stakeholders will serve as the method to incorporate in your policy template. So if you have this feedback mechanism from all the stakeholders, it can be a part of your policy document, how you're going to collect the feedback, and it becomes a method to see how your policy has been implemented. Yeah. Okay. So now let's move on to the slide, which is talking about feed forward practices for stakeholders. So this feed forward practices is even stronger than the feedback mechanism. So because it shifts the focus from criticism of past mistakes to the guidance for the future growth. So because whatever did not work in the past, through feed forward practices, we can see how we are going to improvise this this practices, so that we get a proper guidance for our future group. Right. Now let's see how this works for each stakeholders group in school. For students, how it will work. So teachers highlights next steps after assessment. So what does this mean? Any idea? Educators, teachers highlights next steps after assessment. What does this mean? Can you share any example? What does this mean to you when we talk about feed forward practices for stakeholders, especially for students? Can I have your inputs in the chat box, the educators? For example, okay, future plans. Okay, yes, future plans means how the teachers highlight next step after assessment. So what is this next step after assessments? Means it is a future plan. So can you share any examples? It is a feed forward, identify learning gap, and so and go for the remedial class. Yeah, excellently, Nama. Yes. So when you notice that after assessment, some group of students are mastered the addition and subtraction, but there are students who are struggling with word problem. So solving a word problem becomes a feed forward. Feed forward practice for your school teachers or school maths teachers. So this is what through assessment also we can plan our future actions to, so that this assessment becomes a feed forward for our improvised action in the school. Then rubrics also has levels, and this rubric show what mastery looks like and how to get there. So when we design a rubric, it has all levels, and through a rubric we come to know, we inform students how we are going to assess you on a particular task or a particular worksheet. So rubrics at the highest level has certain parameters. So defining that also to our students and knowing that at what level your students are now will also help you to feed forward your actions. And the peer review, what can you try next? Peer review is again important to feed forward your practices in the school. Many times in the class we see, suppose there are students, we ask to exchange their notebooks and look at each other's work. So there, once I have seen a student who was in the art class, and he was guiding a student. Okay, your colors are very great, but next time you can add more shading for the depth and effect of that art. So this is a kind of feedback which we can look at. The peer reviews in the students group will also help us to feed forward our actions in the class. Next is about the staff. How the staff will help to have a feed forward practices. So a PD roadmap instead of performance review. So professional development. So we have to shift from just judging from the past performance to planning for the future growth. Suppose we say now the teacher is recently joined, but we see the potential in that teacher. So we can have some kind of a professional development programs or hand-holding program for the teacher. So reviewing our programs for the teachers which we have implemented in past will help us to plan for the future PD programs. Then instructional coaching the instructional coaching in your school should be on a solution. Solution means it should be some action oriented. Some future strategies has to be given to a teacher to improvise the teaching learning practices. Then sharing innovation in pedagogies, creating space for teachers to share what works. So this also will help to feed forward your practices in the school. So, for example, if a teachers are introduce excellent pedagogies in the school, so you have to create the spaces for the teachers who want to innovate in the classroom, who want to try something new in the classroom. So that will help you to feed forward your practices in the school, so that your satisfaction of your teaching or the teaching staff or your non-teaching staff is at the highest level. So you are giving that space for the teachers to explore in your school. Then for the principals and the management, so vision alignment workshop with the stakeholders. So this will also help to feed forward practices in your school. 360 feet forward from the staff, students, and parents, which may happen current or maybe from the past, and so that you have a future actions. And leadership training, which can be focused on action and approaches. So this leadership training program will also help you to feed forward your actions, improvement plan of actions in the school. So through leadership programs also, leaders learn a lot and how to implement in the school. And if you're giving that scope and the space for the leaders to, it will help to again have those feed forward actions in the school. Then the parents, so advisory panels for partnership. So we can create a group of parents, alumni, and community members to give input on school initiatives or collaboration. So like having a committee, small committee in the will give us the feedback on whatever the activities we do in the, or whatever the initiatives we take in the classroom. Recently, I was in one of our schools, so we have seen that before they introduced a STEM lab in the school formed an advisory panel, and with the parents, who were from the engineering background, to suggest some resources and the connection to improvise on this STEM lab. So this kind of actions the school was taking to strengthen their STEM lab. Then again, we can have suggestion drives for school communication and events. So actively ask for the ideas for some to make school communication and events better. So for any events you are conducting in the school, or you want some inputs from the parents, for example, suppose you are conducting an annual day, so you can launch your idea matters drive where parents and students submit their suggestion for event on the themes for engagement activity. And through this also we get a lot of ideas to incorporate and to make our events more successful in the school, because again we are taking the inputs from our parents, and that also helps us to feed forward. Means if the inputs or any idea or the suggestion comes from the parents, and if it is really will make an impact to the community, to all the stakeholders after, you have to incorporate and see how, and it can be your feed forward action for the school. Even curriculum feedback groups. So even within the school, you can have the feedback group meetings. Mostly the school has the HOD groups, or where the HODs interacts with the parents, looking at what are the challenging aspects of any subject or the core subjects, and that also helps to have the feedback mechanism including parents in place. And this will also help to this feedback or the challenging curriculum feedback group will also help to school to design the feed forward practices. Then alumni, so mentorship focusing on steps for student success. So alumni may provide the mentorship in past, and they have highlighted sub weaknesses can be taken as a feed forward action. We can also have alumni innovation boards to tap the expertise from this alumni group for the fresh ideas. Then we can also have a survey for forward-looking inputs. And then how the community, so roundtables to co-create developmental ideas, For example, a community roundtable discusses how to improve local reading culture, leading to a reading corners project in community spaces. So this was a school where they had a discussion with a nearby community where they have seen that there is no reading culture in that locality, and there the with the community help the school initiated reading corners wherever the space the community has allotted them. Then service learning projects which are aligned to the community needs. So um, for example, suppose in your school, suppose the science students design a low-cost water filters for local household as a part of their environmental science project. So that could be one of the feed-forward practice which the school can implement so that you are helping the community's needs. Then you can also have open campus days for the shared resources. So this is also one of the open or the resources which you are opening for the community. So what we can do, what resources we can share with the community, like open school facilities like libraries, we have playgrounds, we have a computer lab, which we can open for our community on a specific days. So we have seen schools where every Saturdays the school allows the local families to use their computer lab for digital literacy training programs. So this is what you can involve the communities and take inputs from also community, and for that community also we can have the feed forward practices. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. So this is the 4 R's quality circle. This 4 R's is about review, reflect, respond, and rate. So this is a fantastic strategic tool for the schools to structure continuous improvement in alignment with the SDG goal of quality education. So for quality education, it requires a continuous cycle of questioning, adjusting, and improving. So this 4R quality cycle helps school create a rhythm of reflection and action. So review is, where are we now? So what are we doing and why we are doing? So it helps in mapping current reality. So this is what the review is, the first R of quality cycle. The second R is reflect. Where do we want to go? So we can ask ourselves what is working, what is not working, and how did we get there? So we encourage honest evaluation of whatever the actions we are taking, whatever we are doing. So this is the reflect. Where do we want to go? So this reflect R, the second R, which reflect, helps us to evaluate our actions correctly. Then the third R is about respond. How are we going to get there? So it is about what are the action steps, what are the actions we are planning, what are the strategies we are planning, and what are the kind of resources we will require to achieve our actions or achieve our goals. Fourth R is rate. Is what we are doing making a difference? So this is of rating, means about evaluating your outcomes, measuring the progress, and checking alignment with the goal. So this is about the tracking and evaluating your action step from where you have started and now where you are. So it is about the evaluation. So rating is about what we are doing. Is it making an impact? Is it improving? So this is to give a check on whatever we are doing and see, measure the progress and track the progress and evaluate the outcomes through our fourth R. So this is a cycle and it's not like a checklist. So once you rate, you return to the review and always move forward. So once you rate, you see some of your actions worked very well. So what is the next step? Then again, you come follow the cycle from review, reflect, respond, and rate. So this is again a cyclic process of to evaluate the outcomes of your school. Let's move to the next slide. So next is about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So this is a matrix for different stakeholders, and it is a brilliant way to spark the reflection and discussion on what drives engagement in the school, right? So what is that students and the other stakeholders, what are the factors where the students and other stakeholders are motivated and happy and engaged in school activities. So this framework shows us how intrinsic drivers like internal satisfaction, growth and values, and extrinsic drivers like rewards, recognition, and outcomes apply differently to each stakeholder group. So students, what are the intrinsic motivation, curiosity and love for learning, and the extrinsic factors will be grade and career prospects. So how we are helping the stakeholders for their how they have been motivated through our action. So when we are generating a curious, when the students are curious, they'll generate love for learning. So this is something what the school is doing for the students. For staff, how they are passionate about teaching learning processes, what is the growth opportunity, are they good? That is the intrinsic satisfaction for the staff. And the salary and other job stabilities is the extrinsic factor, which is the motivating factor for the staff also. Principles and managements, fulfillment of vision and the legacy will serve as the intrinsic. Recognition, ranking, financial sustainability all will rank as a extrinsic motivation. Parents and community, trust, pride, shared responsibility will be as an intrinsic satisfaction, as well as reputation of the school services, visibility will be the extrinsic factor for the parents and community. And for the alumni, how they belong, are their feedbacks taken, giving feedback to the school, their belonging with the school will be the intrinsic factor, whereas networking and a prestigious things with the school, compliance or the access to the resources, recognition for the support will also serve as the extrinsic factor for the alumni. So for the schools to flourish, leader must balance both type of motivation, but over-reliance on extrinsic motivators can weaken long-term commitments. So this connects, this if you look at this very clearly connects with the 4R quality cycle, uh, where reflect is on what drives people, respond will be with better motivation strategy, and rate will be impact on engagement. So this is again a intrinsic and extrinsic motivation of all the stakeholders the school has to take care, and can be documented and keep to see, yes, we are taking care of the recognition and the reward uh, policy for the stakeholders. So that is all about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation for the stakeholders. So now this slide is talking about the performance indicators for the parent and alumni satisfaction. So for students, for community, for principals, for management, all these subdomains, there are different performance indicators which are being specified by the SQAAF framework. And if you look at the SQAAF handbook, you will get this performance indicators. So these are the standard statements or the look fors, we can say, for this every subdomain of this beneficiary satisfaction domain. So here we are just presenting about the satisfaction of parents and alumni, the performance indicators. So at what level your school is, whether it is at inceptive or at a transient or at a stable or it is at a dynamic evolving for this subdomain, which is about the parent and alumni satisfaction. So if you look at this level 1 inceptive, the parents speak only in PTM, alumni occasionally share experiences. If your school is allowing parents to speak only in PTMs, uh, alumni occasionally share experiences, then your school is at inceptive level. See, through these indicator statements, performance indicator statements, all the stakeholders or everybody, whoever is an external person or your internal school faculty will look at the school with the same lens. So these performance indicators helps everybody to be on same page. So if these indicators or these look fors are present in your school, then you are at a certain level. So this will help you to see at what level or assess at what level your school is when it comes to the beneficiary satisfaction. So as we are talking about alumni and the parents satisfaction, level 1 is only when the parents are allowed to speak only in PTM and alumni occasionally share their input. Level 2, which is a transient level where parents alumni suggestions are sought, but communication improves through social media use only. Then level 3 is about stable, where formal parent and alumni associate collaborate regularly with management, mm, and feedback guides action. So we are taking the feedback from parents and alumni, and also it helps us to, their feedbacks help us to plan our action. So that is there where you are involving your parents and alumni and you are at the level 3 of this domain. Then level 4 is dynamic evolving. Parents and alumni are true partners with digitally platform policy integration, excuse me, and proactive responsive school system. So dynamic evolving is the highest level where your alumni and the parents are the partner in your school policy. Excuse me. So these statements, these levels have been defined by the SQAAF framework, and every faculty members of the school should look into it, at what level we are involving our parents and alumni to raise the satisfaction or beneficiary satisfaction domain of your school. So the goal is not just satisfaction, but meaningful partnership with enhances growth for students and the schools. So this connects neatly with your motivation matrix also, and the parents and alumni remains motivated to support school when their voices are heard, whether it is and when they are recognized, so that that impact of school improvement is seen when you are taking the inputs from your parents and alumni. So these are the performance indicators or the standards statements, how your standard statements shows this performance in your action steps, so that everybody is on the same page and everybody knows at what level your school is. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So now let us discuss. So when we talk about satisfaction in education, what do we actually mean? Is it about the building the buildings, or the number of activities, or ticking compliance boxes, or how well we listen to the to and address stakeholders' needs and concerns? So there are 4 options. So I want you to type your answer in the chat box. B, Okay, addressing stakeholders' needs and concern. Very good, Lina ma'am. Excellent. Anybody has a different opinion? Prabhati Gupta, yes. B, excellent. Bang on. Okay, B. Okay. Yes. So far what we have did, I hope everybody know that the correct choice is addressing stakeholders' needs and concern. So this is because why this is the correct option, which best reflects the beneficiary satisfaction in the school, because we are addressing the stakeholders' needs and concerns through our action. And this is because because satisfaction is not about quantity or compliance, it's about relevance and responsiveness. So we are taking their inputs and responding to their needs and concerns. So an effective beneficiary approach matters because it builds trust with stakeholders. It enhances students' outcomes. So where we see happy parents plus engaged students, which is equal to better learning, and it also drives continuous improvement for the school. Yes, are we clear now so far? Yes, educators? Okay. So now let's move on to a case study and read this case study carefully. I will read for you. The power of shared beneficiary satisfaction. So ABC's public school is a mid-sized co-educational institution with around 800 students. Although known for its academic excellence, the school began facing multiple challenges in recent years. Students' engagement in extracurricular activities had declined sharply, leaving most learners focused only on academics and showing little interest in sports, cultural programs, or creative pursuits. Parents reported dissatisfaction, saying they felt disconnected due to weak communication system and irregular updates about their children's progress. Teachers, though sincere and hardworking, were relying on traditional lecture methods with very limited use of digital tools, making lessons less interactive and often monotonous. As a result, both students and parents showed low satisfaction levels, and the school community reputation started to weaken gradually. So if you look at this case study, you notice that ABC school is academically very strong, but yet parents and students are dissatisfied. Why do you think this happened? And what are the pain points as you see in this case study? What are the pain points for the students and parents? Can you put your thoughts in the chat box? Just give me the pain points of this case study in the chat box. Yes, educators? They are not able to cope up with the advancing scenario. Okay. Not focused on holistic development of the students. Bang on, Lina ma'am. Any other? Though they are academically strong, but yet parents and students are not satisfied. Okay, let me conclude. Pace in slow and attention to all stakeholders is missing. Okay. Okay. Yes. So let me collate, or let us look at the pain points of this case study. So first is about the low students engagement. It is only yes, students are not involved in extracurricular. Bang on, Sujata ma'am. Yes. School is not modifying its need as per the students. Very good ma'am. Yes, Suchitra ma'am. Yeah. So if you gather the pain points from this case studies about the low students engagement, because students are only focusing, the school is only focusing on academics, neglecting holistic development, as some of you, Suchitra ma'am has mentioned. Then weak communication with parents. That is also a pain point in this case study, where there is irregular updates, lack of trust. Yes. Yes, Varsha Gupta. Yes, weak communication. And third pain point is about the traditional teaching style by the teachers. So there is less interactivity, no digital interaction, and that's why there is monotonous teaching learning in the classroom. So these are the three key points, three key pain points of this ABC school. Now let's see how ABC school finds out the solution. Can we have move on to the next slide? Yeah. So despite the strong academics, the ABC public school is struggling, not able to satisfy students and parents. So now let's look at and turn around plan the leadership has adopted. So they have emphasized on the four pillars. So for engaging learning, they started with blending learning, smart classrooms, and digital tools. So if you look at this solution of this gap analysis. So what were the three pain points? Students' engagement, communication with parents, as well as the traditional teaching learning process. So for that, what the school leadership team has adopted? They have got the solution for engaging learning, for engaging students in learning. They started with blending learning, smart classrooms, and digital tools. Then for holistic development, they introduced clubs like robotic clubs, art clubs, debating club, coding club, sports club, so that there is overall development of the children. They build stronger parent trust through digital portals and mobile app for updates and feedback. So then the communication channel also improved by introducing digital portal and the mobile apps. Then they have initiated teacher growth through professional development workshop for modern 21st century pedagogies and use of technology in the classroom. So this was the solution for that case study, which we have just found out the weak areas of that school. Next, they had the implementation plan. So they had a rollout plan so that to see the improvement in different phases. So first 3 months, they have introduced the smart boards in senior classes. Then they launched a school app for parents communication and conducted digital trainings for teachers. So this was done for the first 3 months. The next 6 months, they started with extracurricular club activities. Then they held monthly interactive sessions among parents, students, and teachers. And by end of the year, they have expanded blended learning to all classes. They promoted students-led projects. They conducted structured surveys for parents and students' feedback. So this approach ensured gradual adoption as well as the engagement from all the stakeholders. So this action implementation, the phases they did first 3 months, then 6 months, and at the year of the end. So all this helped, all these actions, what they have implemented in the school, led to some visible result, which is the outcome. So students' engagement, participation in extracurricular activities rose by 70%. And academic performance improved due to blended learning. So this was the improvement seen in that school when it came to students' engagement. For parent satisfaction, 85% of the parents felt more connected via the new communication apps. So now the parents started communicating with with the school authorities, and there was 85% improvement in the communication when they have introduced that communication app. On teachers, what was the impact on teachers? So teachers gained confidence and job satisfaction after attending those pedagogy trainings and implementing in the classroom. And how does school reputation improve? They got 25% increase in the students' enrollment, or the new enrollment application what they have received. So this is how they have identified the gap in their school, implemented in phases, they have evaluated that action, and they have got the result after implementing these actions in their schools. So this was the case study to understand how the school sometimes fails, though they become academically strong, but fails in the beneficiary satisfaction. So what we have learned from this ABC public school journey, so here we have emphasizes 3 outcomes, that is boosted students' participation and the engagement. Then it increased parent trust as well as the satisfaction level of the parents, and even the higher teacher, it increases, there was an increase in teachers' confidence when they were using the modern pedagogies in the classroom. So this case study shows us that transformation isn't about one big change. It's about a series of balanced, self-planned steps, balanced self as well as well-planned steps. So when academic, extracurricular technologies and the communication comes together, school can achieve a real growth. So through this case study, we have seen that how the schools can identify the gaps, plan out some action steps, try implementation in the phases, and look at the results. Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So far, we have covered almost all the areas or all the elements which were associated with the beneficiary satisfaction. So now here I open for any questions, or do you have any questions to ask so far what we did under beneficiary satisfaction? You can type your questions in the chat box, or we can unmute them. Team Luneblaze.
Ma'am, we'll unmute them in the end, in the last Q&A round. Right now, if anyone is having the questions, please use the chat section.
Yeah. Yes, educators, you can use the chat box if you have any questions which you want me to answer based on whatever we have done so far. Any point which you want me to emphasize on? Yes, Cheryl ma'am, Suchitra ma'am.
Yeah, I believe the session is going amazing. Educators are left with no questions. So let's move ahead with the next round. The final conclusion of the beneficiary satisfaction.
Yeah. We'll explain each point. Okay, thank you, Suchitra ma'am. Okay. Yeah. So let us conclude this domain. So beneficiary satisfaction is the cornerstones of school success, and it builds trust, strengthens relationships, and drives lasting growth for every stakeholder. So when school listens, acts, and include every voice, they not just they not just create the satisfaction, but a culture of excellence in the school. So this is what we can take. This is the takeaway from this domain, for this domain, that as educators, we have to look into this beneficiary satisfaction domain also. And when we hear everybody, the stakeholders who are really a part of our school functions, and look at their satisfaction level and plan out our actions there by involving them in our school activities, will help you to excel in your functioning also. So this is what is the conclusion of this domain, where every voice is valued, true excellence is achieved. Yeah. How do we measure the effectiveness of changes? Okay, Preeti ma'am, how do we measure the effectiveness of changes made based on beneficiary feedback? Yes, so whenever you receive any feedback from the community, or basically the parents are the ones who always give us the feedback. And many times we get to hear the criticism from the parents. Suppose this criticism is taken in a positive way, and we try to analyze that feedback from the parents and improvise on our actions, what we are taking so far, where the parents get satisfied. So that will help us in the improvement of our school. And we are involving the parents, that will give us the measure. And when we improvise those feedback from the parents in our school functioning, and we see some improvement, this is yes, parents are being satisfied, parents are getting involved, so that will give us the measure. Yes, we are incorporating the feedback from the parents in our school functioning. Yes, Preeti ma'am? Okay. So before we close, here are some important updates that every CBSE school must act upon as per the CBSE circular dated on 27th February 2025. Now it is mandatory for all the CBSE affiliated school to submit their self-assessment under SQAAF framework. So who is this for? This applies for all the CBSE schools. You are welcome, Preeti ma'am. So who is this for? This SQAAF framework is for all the CBSE school across the country as well as the abroad. What should school prepare for? The school need to prepare over 1,500 plus documents and evidences as per the detailed SQAAF framework. And this covers every domain, standard, and subdomains of the framework. When to submit? So the final date for submission is December 31st, 2025. School are encouraged to start early to avoid last minute rush and ensure thoroughness. What exactly needs to be submitted? So school must upload two key components: a complete SQAAF self-assessment and a well-structured self-improvement plan based on their findings. So these are the two important documents where the SQAAF committee will require the SQAAF self-assessment by the school as well as the self-improvement plan of the school. Where to submit? Submission are to be made on the official SQAAF framework portal. You will log in using your LOC user ID and password. How will CBSE inspection occur? After submission, a peer assessor team will be assigned, and the PAT team will physically visit your school to verify documentation, interact with stakeholders, and assess overall implementation. Yes, Preeti ma'am, you have to submit your school improvement plan for all the domains. So if you look at this, SQAAF is not just a compliance task, it is an opportunity for your school to introspect, innovate, and institutionalize your excellence. So start your preparation today, because quality is a journey and not a destination. Next, we have no, photographs are not considered as an evidence. See, a strong evidence. See, you if you are conducting, suppose you are inviting a parent, for a guest lecture. So that is, if you are documenting or writing a report, how the parent was, on which date the parent has given a guest lecture, what was the topic, how, which classes they have attended, when it was held. So that report will be the evidence for the action which you have taken when you have involved a parent in inviting and giving a guest lecture. But the photograph of that session is not a valid evidence. The report of that event or that parent session is the evidence for the score. Getting photographs you can keep as a activity for your school. Yes, this is my evidence, and this is along with the report, these are the photographs. So this event was it because the committee of SCAAF also trusts the schools that yes, the schools are doing this and they are keeping as a records. They are documenting it as a report, and that is the evidence for the SCAAF committee, right? So they don't ask for the photograph. Photograph is the additional thing for the school to maintain, because you always update your social media pages, website pages of your school. So there you require your this photograph. But for the SCAAF faculty or the SCAAF committee, they require the reports of whatever the activities you do. Yeah. Okay. On your slide, we have now the SCAAF submission document. So self-assessment is evidence driven. So school must upload more than 1,500 documents and evidences across 7 domains of SCAAF. Understand the documentation workload school must prepare for. So 1,500 document is a huge task, but it is a doable thing if you start from the early stage. See, when we are doing, why can't we keep as evidence in the form of record or as a document? So that is what is expected from the school. It is not verbally you tell, you do also. But if the record is not maintained, no external party will not believe. So that's why whatever we do, even you call a students and talk to a student to solve some of the issue, that has to be documented so that that becomes a record for your future reference. So keeping a record of 1,500 documents is doable if you start early. So here on your screen, you have the breakdown for the domains, curriculum and pedagogies and assessment. We have 502 documents to maintain. Which covers learning processes, lesson planning, assessments, and innovation. For second domain, infrastructure, resources, and learning environment, we have 356 documents to maintain, which include physical facilities in the school, digital tools, safety measures, and accessibility compliance. Human resources, we have 176 documents to mention, which covers everything from recruitment policy to the teacher development and wellness programs. Inclusive practices, we have 125 documents to maintain, which ensures equity, accessibility, and diversity initiatives across the school. Management and governance, we have 171 documents, which reflects on leadership structure, audit, strategic planning, and transparency measures. Leadership domain, we have 118 documents, which focuses on the vision, mission statement, leadership action, participative decision-making, and continuous improvement culture. And for beneficiary satisfaction, we have 101 documents to maintain, which may include your surveys, your feedback loops from parents, students, alumni, and staff, and actions taken, even how you are analyzing these surveys. So that all comes under as a documents for beneficiary satisfaction. Am I clear? Yeah. So let's move on to the next slide now. Yeah. So now that we explored the SCAAF framework self-assessment process, let's move on to the next important piece, the CBSE SCAAF infection. So how are they conducted and what can you expect from this SCAAF framework inspection? So CBSE conducts inspection for a randomly selected 5% of schools every year to assess their compliance and implementation of SQAAF framework standards. And if your school requests an inspection or a re-evaluation, CBSE may also conduct one to verify progress or provide feedback. So when a school is looking to renew or extend its affiliation with CBSE, the inspection will also consider the score self-assessment as a part of the process. For the purpose, the primary aim of the inspection is not just to evaluate, it is to promote the self-improvement process in the school. The focus of this inspection is process-oriented, and it focuses on a long-term quality improvement for the school. Duration of inspection is continuous and ongoing, and the target group for CBSE's SQAAF inspection are all schools, and this inspection process applies to all schools that are using SQAAF framework for self-assessment, including both CBSE as well as non-CBSE school. And then the support during the inspections, schools will receive detailed self-improvement descriptors, which will help them to understand their strengths and areas for growth. CBSE also offers capacity building initiatives that guide schools through the process and helps them improve in the areas like leadership, pedagogy, and community partnership. Then outcome of this inspection will be this inspection will be like a tool for growth for the schools. So it will encourage school to get specific goals and develop a roadmap for improvement. Instead of simple rating system, the process focuses on actionable feedback as well as the growth opportunity. So start preparing early for the score inspection, and view the inspection as a catalyst for positive change in your school. So it is this inspection is not just about the compliance, but setting about a vision for the continuous improvement and for fostering a growth culture within your school. So it is always better to start early to adhere to the SQAAF guidelines and the SQAAF standards what this framework is talking about. Okay, this is all about the SQAAF inspection. Now let's look at the SQAAF Domain 7 documents. So, which is about the satisfaction of stakeholders. As we have from the today, from the beginning of the session, we are talking about the satisfaction of the stakeholder. So it directly connects to the SDG 4, that is quality education, focusing on how happy and engaged all key holders groups are with the school practices. So Domain 7, as we have seen, looks into the 6 key groups, that is students, staff, principal, parents, alumni, community, as well as the management. So the idea of this domain is simple. The quality school isn't just about marks. It is about satisfaction across all these groups. So here are the examples of documents and practices the school should have to demonstrate satisfaction, especially for the students. Here, the documents which has to be maintained for the satisfaction of students are about 16. We'll just go into details about the documents which we have to maintain for this subdomain. For other subdomains, you can refer to the SQAAF handbook and you will get what are the documents which we have to maintain for the other subdomains of this beneficiary satisfaction. So for students, school beneficiary satisfaction policy, and the format already we have seen in our previous slides. So it is a format policy and how the school ensures stakeholders' happiness. So through this policy, we'll get an idea how the school is maintaining a policy for student satisfaction, and how the happiness of, element of these students is being measured through this policy. Then feedback and feed forward practices, not just feedback, but also the future focused suggestions is been mentioned in this document. That is also is a document which the school has to maintain to look at the satisfaction level of the students. The students council, the list of members and the role in decision making. The students handbook created with students inputs. uh, Students Resource Center, a space for students support. Students Quality Circles, a group of students solving school-related issues. Then students empowerment programs like leadership, skill building activities, what we are planning for their empowerment. That also has to be documented so that we have the proper evidence in the form of document with respect to the SQAAF framework. Then activity records, where the number of students excelling in different activities, what are the competitions we are conducting in the school for the students, that all has to be recorded. Monitoring practices, what are the systems or the regular checkpoints in the school to measure the practices, what we are planned for the student satisfaction. How we are analyzing students' feedback. School must not only just collect feedback, but also analyze the trends. What are the students consistently asking for? Are there patterns that indicate areas of improvement? So this is all the feedback which is given by the student, either through a suggestion box or through the one-on-one discussion. How this is being analyzed by the school, and how this has been recorded. The analysis record of the students' feedback is also a mandatory document for the school to maintain and measure the satisfaction level of the students. Activities conducted for students at every stage. So this means giving students ownership and voice. So activity should not only be for the students, but also by the students. So it is not that the teachers and leaders are planning the activities for the students, but if students want some kind of activities to be incorporated in their daily functioning, or even through us annual day or a sports day, so that voice can be heard, and how these activities which were suggested by the students are being documented. That record also has to be kept. Even your students-led assemblies, your peer teaching sessions, the club activities which are being conducted by the students, and how it leads to the satisfaction level of students is to be documented. And then you have to look at the management and governance practices that ensure safe and a secure environment. So schools should have documented safety policies for children. They should have child protection committees in the school, and also reporting system to build trust among the children and the faculty members. Then improvement plans to strengthen the system. So feedback is meaningless without the action, and school must document action plans based on the survey, feedback, and observation. And why do you think this is important to strengthen the improvement systems or improvement plan through a proper system in the school? And why this student satisfaction is important element when we have these improvement plans to strengthen the system? Because when we have satisfaction, which will be equal to the engagement of the students, and also it will help the better learning outcomes for the student. It will create a better learning environments for the student. So that's why documenting everything what we are doing for the satisfaction of our students, similarly for the other stakeholders, will help you to have documented documents in place that will help you to take a decision in the future also. So if these things are been documented, it becomes a future reference for the leaders as well as the teachers in the school. So if parents, students, and staff feel heard and valued, then they will stay motivated and connected to the school. So these all documents related to the satisfaction of all the stakeholders, if are properly documented, are properly maintained in the school, and even monitored and analyzed in a better way, that will help to the satisfaction level of all the stakeholders. So here we have just discussed about the 16 documents which are to be maintained under the subdomain for the subdomains of beneficiary documents, beneficiary satisfaction. The subdomain was satisfaction of the student. And for other subdomains, you will get to see in your SQAAF handbook also. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. So as per the CBSE circular, which was issued on 27 February 2025, so every CBSE affiliated school is now required to conduct and submit a complete self-assessment under the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework, which is nothing but the SQAAF framework. And what this circular specifies, mandatory self-assessment for all CBSE schools. Preparation of documents and evidences. Schools are required to organize and submit 1,500 plus documents across the 7 SQAAF domain. Submission timeline. So it also gives the circulars talking about the submission timeline when you have to complete your self-assessment and the school improvement plan, and it is to be uploaded on that portal by 31st December 2025. Submission platform for all reports and documents must be submitted via the official SQAAF portal using the LOC, list of candidates, a login credential. Then inspection and validation. So post submission, school may undergo validation visit by the peer assessor team as per the CBSE norms, and it is critical that every school principal, management team, and the SQAAF coordinator is thoroughly familiar with the guidelines in the circular. So this will ensure not just timely submission, but a meaningful growth-driven self-assessment process. So to remember, SQAAF framework is not just a formality, but it's your school pathway to sustainable excellence. Yeah. So this is the circular which is talking about the self-assessment of your school for this year 2025. So I thank Luneblaze team and hand over to them for the further details.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really an insightful and practical walkthrough of the SQAAF Domain 7 beneficiary satisfaction. And it actually sets the stage for understanding how schools can align their internal processes with the expectations of the accreditation bodies. And, this is exactly where Luneblaze steps in to support the schools. With over 8 years of experience in accreditation, we are helping schools confidently navigate the SQAAF journey. From organizing documentation and managing evidence to streamlining workflows, audits, and trainings, we provide a complete solution that simplifies every aspect of the accreditation process. So whether it is compiling of ACPPs and calendars, tracking school events, conducting reviews, or offering 24/7 consultancy support, Luneblaze ensures that schools are not only compliant, but also well prepared for their annual self-assessment. Let's now take a close look on how Luneblaze supports schools step by step across the SQAAF journey. So we offer a complete end-to-end solution that helps schools streamline their documentation, self-assessment, and compliance processes with ease. To begin with, we provide access to over 1,500 plus ready-to-use documents and policies frameworks, which helps, which schools can either directly adopt or tailor as per their specific needs. Our platform also enables schools to effectively organize and maintain records, be it images, reports, certificates, or evidences of the events like competitions, workshops, and orientations, all in one structured space. In addition to the documentation, our workflow management tools help schools delegate tasks to the right team members, set deadlines, and track overall progress, ensuring timely and accurate completion of all the SQAAF requirements. And as you all know, we all, we also host a monthly webinars led by the SQAAF experts to help school leaders and faculty members continuously build their understanding of the framework and stay aligned with the evolving standards. Beyond that, we conduct regular review meetings to look upon the school are on the track in their SQAAF journey, along with update schools on the new developments, whether it is changes in the SQAAF guidelines or improvements to our platform features, so that teams remain informed and prepared. For ongoing support, our team is available around the clock 24/7 through phone, email, WhatsApp, ready to assist schools at any step of the process. When schools are ready to file their annual self-assessment SQAAF report on the CBSE portal, we guide them through the entire process, ensuring every detail is accurate, meaningful, and compliant. And recognizing how uncertain CBSE inspections can be, we also offer mock inspections and document audits. These help schools evaluate their readiness and identify areas of improvement before the actual visit of CBSE. In summary, our goal at Luneblaze is to make SQAAF journeys smoother and more efficient so that schools can focus on growth and quality education while we take care of the operational and compliance side. Now, with that overview, let's move ahead on how Luneblaze supports. So now how we are supporting schools through the every step of SWA journey, as we rightly discussed. We'd love you all to experience it firsthand. So right on your screen, we are sharing a QR code and a direct link that can be used to create your free demo account on the Luneblaze portal. This trial access will remain active for 7 days and will give you an inside look at subdomain 1.1 under the SQAAF framework. And if you'd like to if you'd like to have a more guided experience, you can also choose to book a one-on-one personalized demo where our team will walk you through the platform, answer your questions, and show how it aligns with your school-specific needs. Feel free to scan the QR code or head over to the luneblazeportal.com to sign up and begin exploring. We'll also be sharing on the relevant link in the chat section shortly. And we finally hope that you all, hope that today's sessions, along with the hands-on opportunity, gives you a clear understanding of how Luneblaze simplifies SQAAF implementation, making the entire process not just easier, but also more meaningful and sustainable. Let's now move ahead to the next part of our session. And on the screen, and finally, before we close, we are truly proud to share that over 100 plus schools have already partnered with Luneblaze on their SQAAF journey, including some renowned institutions like GT Goenka, Chinmay Vidyalaya, Father Regional Group of Schools, and many more across India and abroad. We are also privileged to supporting in schools internationally, such as Al-Ain Junior Schools and Indian Language School, among others. And we genuinely look forward to extending the same level of commitment and support to your school as well, helping you make the SQAAF journey structured, stress-free, and impactful. If you'd like to know more and explore how Luneblaze can support your school specifically, we'd love to reach out to us directly on the number on the screen. We are always here to help, and we'd be delighted to support your school's growth and compliance journey. So moving ahead, as we can see on the screen, the next chapter of our SQAAF journey will be related to will be focused on the NCF and the foundation, NCF on the foundational and preparatory stage. It is scheduled for the upcoming month in September, and we warmly invite you all to join us once again for the session, and so that it promises to be just as insightful and enriching, diving deep into one of the most curriculum framework. So just mark your calendars, and we truly look forward to welcoming you again with the same energy, spirit, and enthusiasm as today. So moving ahead, this is the final question answers round, and I appreciate all of you. We have allowed everyone to unmute themselves. So you can now discuss with Archana ma'am regarding anything that you have. In the meantime, there are certain questions in the chat section. Ms. Upma is asking, do we need to keep records in separate registers?
Sorry, I didn't get it. Yes.
Yeah. So do we need to keep records in separate registers?
Yes. But it is better to maintain a soft copies, because maintaining register is too tedious job. So it is better to maintain a soft copy so that these documents are live, and should be on your school drive, so that everybody who are involved in the policies or any kind of documentation get access to these documents, and the records are maintained in one place. So whenever anybody asks for the documents, you can take print and give it to them. But maintaining the hard copies like a register, it is a means investment in the resources, as well as it will become a tedious job by writing it down, right?
So we have some questions related to the certificates. So certificates you can download from the link through which you have registered, and the team will be guiding you for the same. You also have the email ID on the screen, webinars@luneblaze.com. For any assistance related to the certificates, you can drop an email to this.
Any other question? And even documentation, maintaining this document depends on school to school. Some schools are comfortable by maintaining hard copies. Some schools are okay with the soft copies. So, but if you look at the trend today, so it is many schools are switching to the soft copies. So in a drive, they have school folders. As per the domain, in those domain folders, they have their evidences and the documents. Can we have another question? Is there any other question?
Dear all, no, there is no question in the chat section. Dear educators, you are free to unmute yourself and discuss your queries with ma'am.
Okay.
Any questions from the audience? Any discussions, clarifications, and anything you want to be repeated in the presentation? Please feel free to unmute yourselves, or you can use the chat section.
Okay. I think
The
there are
session.
no questions that doubts and queries are been answered through our session only.
Yeah, right. That's too good. And
Yeah.
finally, then let's move ahead to the final thank you note to everyone. So, like we have something.
Yeah. The form is
Yeah.
not accepting the same.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
so
will.
thank you very much. Thank you all the educators for your time and listening me. I hope whatever the queries we had with respect to this domain has been sorted out and solved through your discussion and uh, presentation. And also the thank you to a Luneblaze team. Really, I appreciate and hats off to you for believing in the quality education and starting with quality in people and empowering all the educators in their journey. That's really a good initiative by the team, and reaching out to so many educators is also a wonderful job what you are doing, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to address to all the educators who are present here, and looking forward for more such sessions. Thank you so much, and thank you participant for your interaction and sharing your views with us. We had a lot of learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Over to
Thank you so much, Archana ma'am, for sharing your, your expertise and walking us through the vital aspects of the SQAAF Domain 7 beneficiary satisfaction. The webinar has incredibly insightful and has offered great clarity on both the conceptual and practical aspects of the domain. A special thanks to all the participants. Your time, energy, and thoughtful engagement made this webinar enriching for everyone involved. And we hope the discussions today have addressed all of your queries and helped you gain a better understanding of how to approach SQAAF implementation in a structured and effective way. Please don't forget to share your feedback. The link is available in the chat section. If you're facing any issues, we are just looking into it right away. Your inputs help us improving these sessions. Also, the participation certificates, the ones who are having the questions related to it, you can access them through the same link through which you have registered, or you can reach out to the contact details mentioned on the screen. We wish you all the very best as we move forward in your SQAAF journey, and we look forward to supporting you in the future as well. Now, to everyone, I wish you a great weekend ahead. And thank you once again, Archana ma'am. And thank you all the participants for being a part of today's webinar. And we'll definitely see you all again in the next. So thank you so much, participants. The feedback thing, we are just looking onto it. Just allow us a moment and I'll just notify you right away. So the session is over now. The participants, if you don't have any questions, you can leave. And if there are any questions, you can please, ping, and we can discuss upon that. Dear all, kindly start, submitting the feedback. I think the feedback form is working now. Please try once. Yes, Ms. Jyoti, anything to discuss? The form is working now. Please try again. It is for the domain 7. Please just refresh the form you are having. I've sent the link again. Please use the same.
Jyoti ma'am has raised her virtual hand.
Yeah, Jyoti ma'am, anything you have to, any questions you're having? Please use the chat section. Anything to discuss?